Hey guys, I've got a stubborn Mauser barrel. I'm trying to remove it. Today's video I'll be showing you how to make a homemade barrel vise. So my plan here is to tack these two pieces together in line and then tack them onto the end of this piece of stock here so I can turn them and turn a hole for the aluminum spacers in between. I'll start by facing off this piece of stock. So I've got this piece of stock pretty cleaned up-ish for this. I've got these bed layers cleaned up with the flap disc. Now I'm gonna tack them together and then try to get this pretty centered up on here and weld it on. Okay, I've got this tacked up. Please don't make fun of my welds. I'm working with what I got here. But it's not super plumb, super straight, or super square. But to get this Mauser barrel off, I think it'll do. So I've got a hole punched all the way through here. Hopefully it should be big enough to squeeze a boring bar in there. Okay, I finally got this board out about as wide as I want it. There's not much, not a very pretty finish, but I'm working with what I got. So I went ahead, knocked off the tacks, took it off, cleaned it up with a file. Not too bad. So now that I've got this piece done up, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn a piece of aluminum to fit inside of this, and then we'll make our shims out of it. We've got the outside of this aluminum bar turned down about how I want it. Now we're just gonna go ahead and bore it out, just like the jaws of the vise. Right now we're just shimming underneath this chuck to give it a little more height, or not chuck, tool holder, to give it a little more height for the boring bar to get nice and centered up on there. Then we'll go ahead and get this squared up as we can onto the piece of stock here for the shim. It's pretty square. Excuse me. And we'll put our little tiny boring bar underneath. Shim the bar. This will tighten down. And we're set up to bore. So we'll go ahead and put her in the hole. Make sure we got enough travel on this first. Put her in the hole, get our reference mark, and then we'll touch off on the edge of the hole and go ahead and start boring. So we've got our hole bored out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down the center and then part it off. All right, got them parted off and cleaned up. Now we got these two little aluminum shims to sit in our jaws. We've got our jaws split and cleaned up. Here's them aluminum jaw pads. They just sit right in there. And where I cut them, they'll have a little gap, so they'll be able to squish up and form around any barrel. I'll put in, well, any barrel small enough to fit in here, like the Mauser. Getting it squared up here in the mill drill. I'm about to punch some holes. We're using a center drill to go ahead and get our points marked up. Okay, I've welded this on there. Remember, I'm more of a grinder than a welder. I'm gonna poke the holes through for the bolts and then poke some mounting holes into the bench. And we'll have ourselves a barrel vise. Okay, something I completely neglected to think of when drilling my holes was making sure that they were all drilled the same, because now when I put the bolts in, it lines up like that. And instead of checking it back up on the lathe and getting all that, it sounds like too much work to me. I'm just gonna mill channels in one of these pieces. But again, you know, we all make mistakes, especially when we just do things on the fly. Little update, I just got showered up out of the garage. I believe that the problem I was having after trying to take the barrel off was, one, the barrel stuck on there pretty damn tight. And two, there's not enough surface area and there's not enough of the just straight vise jaws to match the contour of the barrel. And even with the force of God applied to the jaws, it still was spinning the barrel. So tomorrow I'll have to reattack and make something with more surface area. I've seen some dudes use pine rosin or powdered rosin. I'll order some of that and try it. I tried leather, I tried lead shims, I tried aluminum shims, and no matter what, it slipped. If any of you guys have any advice and I haven't got it already, please leave it in the comments and let me know.